UWTD is good. All right, let's get started.
Well, on a quick recap of the ball game, just kind of reiterate some of the similar thoughts from Saturday. That I thought our kids played really hard. I thought we fought against a good football team. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of lack of execution on our part, and not great coaching on our part, quite honestly. You know, it wasn't our best game. And to beat that football team, you need to play one of your better games. And when they win the turnover margin 2-0, and when you have really 4 opportunities to score touchdowns and you have 2 turnovers on their side of the ball, when you get the ball late in the first half there, on the plus 49-yard line and come away with no points, and then you have a 1st and goal on the 5 to come away with only 3 points. I think those are pretty big defining moments in a ball game against a good team. And to beat a team of that caliber, you need to take advantage of those opportunities, and we just didn't do it. But that doesn't take away from our fight. I thought our kids fought extremely hard. I thought they played a physical game. But you know, they were the better team that night, and they won that night. And so onward and upward. I really believe that this is, for us, you know, every game is the biggest game of the year, and this Saturday is the biggest game of the year for us going to Arizona State. They've got an excellent football team. They're very well coached on both sides of the ball, and it's going to take a great week of preparation from us and a good, well-played ball game to go in there and get a victory because they're a good team.
Steve, when you talk about the coaching aspect of Saturday, looking back, is there anything that you would have liked to have done differently?
Yeah, you know, Sophie, I go into after every game, and when I evaluate the film of the game, I evaluate all 3 phases. I evaluate the players, I evaluate the schemes, and I evaluate the play calls. And I'm obviously the offensive play caller, and there's always 4 or 5 play calls. Man, I wish I could have that one back or that one back. And so there was a handful of those in the game that I think could have helped us. Obviously, the 1st and goal on the 5, we liked the call. I didn't think the play would ever turn out the way it did with the sack of minus 9 yards, but that's what happened. So I have to live with that call. The 3rd and 8 with the interception by Keith, you know, we were really in 4 down territory there, meaning we were going to go for it on 4th down regardless. So that probably wasn't the best play call to take that shot to Jadon right there down the field and maybe try something more intermediate to give us a chance to go for it in a 4th and short type situation. So a couple of those types of things, you know, I'll carry with me and learn from and get better from.
Did you, it seemed like, at least in the first half, you weren't getting a lot of productivity yardage-wise out of 1st down. First of all, is that a correct observation? And what are the things that either weren't working, or does that fall into your?
Well, our execution was okay in the run game early on, and they were obviously Bishop's a good back, and they're going to key on him, and they've got a good defensive front and good coaches at Oregon. But we just kept hunting and pecking and sticking with it, and obviously the second half the run game really got going for us. I thought more importantly than anything else, our passing game really lacked explosive plays in the ball game, and it didn't help air out the running game. You know, we just you know, we've been really explosive as a football team coming into the game, and to come out of that game with only 4 explosive passing plays and 4 explosive running plays for a total of 8 just isn't up to par for where we've been. And so I think it all went together, and so the lack of productivity on 1st down, whether it was running or throwing it, I think lent itself to being a little bit more conservative on 2nd down, trying to get ourselves into manageable 3rd downs, which we were pretty good on 3rd down, 50%. So, you know, 1st down productivity is big for us in the way we operate, and it just wasn't as where it normally is for us.
Sark, when you talk about the other team's explosive plays, you've talked about like 18 or something like that.
Yes.
Was that just Mariota and his guys making plays, or were there some breakdowns?
We can play better. You know, we can play better. We lost contain a couple times, which I think we can do better than we did. We can contain the quarterback better than we did. I thought our eye discipline in the secondary at times was not as good as it's been. I thought we got caught looking in the backfield and looking at Mariota, and at times we had guys that running by us and getting open that were more accustomed to covering. But it's also a credit to them and their execution. He made a couple of throws right on time with anticipation that guys were covered. A couple times guys were double covered, and he fit it in there. So I think it was a combination of things.
After these 2 tough losses, Do you worry at all about any sort of hangover effect, or do you think the team still kind of recognizes the opportunities ahead?
I don't know if worried is the right word, but I'm aware of the potential. And my assessment to the team today was we're at halftime. We're in the locker room right now. We're 4-2 football team. I think we're 20th in the country. And we've played a good first half of football against some really good teams. But just as we've been all season long, we're an excellent second half football team, and we're going to go out in the second half and play a great half of the season. And we're going to start Saturday against Arizona State. We're going to prepare really well, and we're going to come out of the blocks playing fast, physical football the way we're capable of playing. And I think the guys understand that. I think that the sky's the limit for this football team as we continue to move forward. And but it's going to take a great week of preparation to get that done against Arizona State.
So you're going to make some adjustments to special teams personnel-wise going into this game. How much of that did you do? Did you get the results you were looking for the most?
We did it. I thought Travis kicked the ball off relatively well, especially into the wind there in the third quarter. I thought he was effective. We moved a couple people around on kickoff coverage, and we'll continue to do that to try to put our best players in position to be successful. I thought John Ross being back on kickoffs, he showed us a couple flashes there of what the future can hold, and we want the future to be this Saturday. We want it to happen sooner rather than later. But all in all, we're still a work in progress in that phase of the game, and we'll continue to work at it and emphasize it until it becomes a strength of ours.
Steve, when you say this is the biggest game for you guys, is that just because it's the next one, or do you really feel like this is a game that could really kind of dictate the way this thing goes?
I think a little bit of both, Softy. I think it's a fair question. I think, one, it's the next one, and we place so much emphasis on that game that week. But also, I really believe that just like we've done, we've played 6 ball games, and the first drive of the third quarter of every game that we've played up until this point, we've gone down and scored a touchdown as an offense. And we place a huge emphasis on that first drive and setting the momentum there in the third quarter, that this is the third quarter of the season. Here's our first drive. We get the ball. What are we going to do with it? And I think it's important for us to come out and make a statement with this drive and the way we play and the way we play this Saturday.
Arizona State, initial thoughts?
Very good football team. A very good football team at home. I think the quarterback has just got a lot of game to him. Probably giving myself too much credit. Kind of reminds me of me, Chris. No, I'm just kidding. He's just a scrappy guy, man. He makes all the plays when he has to make them. He runs when he has to run. He throws it. He throws the back shoulder fade to Jalen Strong extremely well. Grice, the running back, is probably the best running back nobody's heard of. The guy's leading the country in touchdowns right now. A very active defense, an active defensive front. Will Sutton, Bradford, those guys on their defensive front. And then in the back end, Darby and those guys, they get after the football. So we have a tall order this Saturday going to Arizona State, 3 o'clock kickoff with the heat. In that environment, it's a tall task, but I think it's one we can be up to if we do it right this week.
Is there something about this team's makeup or mentality, and I'm talking about you guys, that makes you guys road dogs in terms of just maybe being able to kind of appreciate going on the road?
I think so. I think our guys, these last 2 games have been tough, hard-nosed football games, man, and 2 different styles, obviously, with Stanford and Oregon, but they've been physical games on both sides of the ball. And we came to practice today and put on our shoulder pads and helmets and got after it goods on goods again. And there wasn't guys complaining. There weren't guys tapping out. I mean, these guys went right back to it. So I think we are a little bit more mentally tough than we've been in years past. I think guys kind of almost embrace this role of going on the road now, and here's another great challenge for us. And I think that they see this as an opportunity more than a challenge, that we have an opportunity to go do something really cool on the road Saturday. That if we do it the right way, we can accomplish it.
Steve, is there a common theme in the last couple of weeks besides playing good teams and not being able to grab momentum after you guys score, you kind of give it right back, you score,
I think that's just the product of playing good teams, I mean, we of course we want to. Of course we'd want to create another turnover somewhere in there, get us a short field, and we're trying, and when it happens, look out. We're doing all this right now without that happening. So when that happens, it'll be even better for us. But we're trying, and we're placing an emphasis on it. I think the team collectively has been really strong together and playing as a team, which I love. And so we'll be fine, and it'll happen for us. And when we do, like I said, look out.
Steve, when a player like Mariota can complete 223 passes without a turnover, what about him and what about that offense produces that kind of efficiency, knowing that they're great athletes to begin with?
I think it's, one, they have a good scheme. I think, two, having a quarterback who really understands the scheme and plays within the scheme. I think, three, a guy who has really good, talented players around him that make plays when he delivers the football accurately. And then, four, when things aren't there, he's not forcing it. He's pulling the ball down, and he's able to escape on third down and run for 12 yards and convert a third down conversion. So he's not put in a position to where he has to force the ball, because he has a whole nother weapon in his arsenal of being able to escape and buy time to create more plays.
Dexter, is the shoulder something that you think might keep him out this week? Or
Yes,
would it be Eric in his place?
probably.
You've been asked every week about Austin getting more touches for him. Is that a concern? Is that a point of emphasis?
The point of emphasis for us is to score as many points as we can and be the most efficient offense we can be. And we've got a talented offensive football team in a lot of phases, and we know we're better when we're balanced. That being said, would I like Austin to probably have more catches coming out of ball games? Sure. Same with Kaysen, same with Kevin Smith, same with Jadon Mickens, same with John Ross and Bishop Sankey and all that. So that's the point of, we got to go faster. We only ran 74 plays Saturday, and that's not good enough.
What, Steve, do you attribute that to? A little slower.
I don't know. Maybe we were changing personnel groupings too much in formations. Oregon, I think, ran 81 plays in the game, roughly. I'm not exactly sure of that, but all in all, it just wasn't there for us. We just weren't clicking the way we were capable of clicking offensively, and it's a credit to their defense. They've got good defensive players. Number 14, probably the best defensive player we've seen this year for Oregon. That kid is a special player. And so it just wasn't clicking the way we're capable of playing. And we kind of clawed our way back into the game. There was 17 points in the third quarter. But like I said before, I think we left points on the board. We had 4 opportunities to score touchdowns and came away with a total of 3 points. And you're not going to beat a team like Oregon when that happens.
The Austin question seems to be getting asked a lot. How do you get him more involved outside the touchdown, just the one catch Saturday? I mean, just how to get him more looks. What's your take on that after 6 games?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think we're a top 10 offense in America, so I feel good about where we're at as an offensive football team.
And it seemed like a number of times, quite often as a matter of fact, the official standing over the ball would put his hand out to the center. And I'm not suggesting he did that to Washington, not Oregon. I didn't notice that earlier in the year. Do you think there's a conscious effort to make sure the official crew is set? Because that seemed to slow things down a little bit.
That happens generally on substitutions. So if either team substitutes while they're on offense, you automatically give the defense an opportunity to substitute. You get 3 seconds to sub. So that can happen on that. It can happen if an official is out of position, they can hold it for him. So we can help ourselves there by not substituting and staying within the same formation that we're in.
Steve, as the season's going on and you're watching defenses play and scout against Bishop, are you seeing them show more respect for him? Is he getting more respect as a running back?
He should. I don't know. You have to ask those guys. He should. I mean, he's leading the country in rushing right now halfway through the season. So I don't know. I'd have to ask them. What I see is people playing defense and trying to defend a complete offensive football team, and I think that's what we have. Our balance is good. We weren't great throwing the football Saturday, unfortunately, or it could have helped on both sides, running it and throwing it. But we weren't great throwing the ball Saturday night, and I think that affected it some. But we're relatively a very balanced team, which we force you to defend both, and we need to continue to strive for that.
What does Utah beating Stanford say about the depth in the Pac-12, especially the South?
I've said it every week. I mean, if you don't come to play week in and week out in this conference, it doesn't matter who you're playing, you can get beat. And Utah took UCLA right down to the wire the week before, and they came back the next week and got Stanford at home. So it doesn't matter who you're playing. You better be ready to go, or you can get beat.
Any plans to limit Keith this week with the thumb, or is he?
He did everything normal today that he normally would do.
Anybody else come out of the game banged up or?
Yeah, we have some bumps and bruises, but like I said, we went to practice today and everybody practiced, which was really cool.
Anything else for everybody? All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.